What's going on, guys? So today on this Shoky review, we're going to be taking a look at something new from Newage. Now, it did come out a little while ago, but it is their version of Ultra Magnus. And yeah, there's I have some issues with this figure, as we'll get to it, but this is technically their number 28 Octavian. Now, it took me a while to get him, but he's definitely pretty damn cool. He's still fairly new. I mean, even though he came out roughly the same time as David, you know, he's still pretty awesome. So, nice kind of G1 look here. You've got Power to Conquest. You got Octavian there. Your legendary heroes there. Something in what I assume is Chinese. Cool. Come to the top. And it's got all that stuff. You got robot mode. You got that City Commander Octavian. I mean, they're not even worried about it. They're just flat out calling him City Commander. Okay, come around here. You got bot and vehicle mode. And then come around the back. And you have a misprinted box. Like, no joke. The box is printed upside down. I didn't do that. So, you got him here with the Galvatron. You got Newage right there, just 15 plus. Hey, right in the middle of that. Box art by them. And 2021 made in China. It took a long time for me to get this because I waited for BBTS to get him, and then you know, that's pretty much how that happened. And you come over here, you got standard grade. It is what it is. I will say BBTS has the best price for him outside of any of the kind of overseas sellers, but as it goes for American retailers, he's definitely like almost $20 cheaper than most of them. Chosen Prime and TF Source definitely have him for like significantly more. But either way, that's it for the box, and I'm going to go ahead and get him out here. By the way, I will say there was an out-the-box review for this for channel members. If you want to see things like that, by all means, go join the channel membership. You see my first interaction with Transformers, other figures. You get to see previews of model kits as I'm building them, usually, or my thoughts and feelings on them before I review them. So if you're interested in that, by all means, go sign up for that. But either way, let's get this out of here. Alright guys, so I did want to show off the fact that it does come with instructions, which are a little confusing. The biggest deal is the fact that the white version of Prime that he comes with, holy crap, hold on, I gotta darken this down so you guys can see that. The white version of Prime that he comes with as an internal bot transforms ever so differently to David, so I will be going over the transformation of that along with the actual combination to make him Magnus. So on the front side, this is just transforming to bot mode for the truck, and then on the back side is converting the quote-unquote trailer to the armor mode, and then how to transform that to become Magnus. So he definitely comes with instructions as usual. He does come with swap out hands, like you do. Sorry, everything's white. I gotta careful here. So these are just enlarged versions of hands we've already got. They may or may not be the same ones that Cyclonus comes with. Same pointing hand and expressive hand, so no big deal. He comes with his big old rifle, which is cool in and of itself. Zoom in here. Looks pretty good. I like it. Comes with a smaller rifle, just with the little 3mm peg. Molding looks good. No hollow parts. Gotta love that. So that's nice. And he comes with a prime gun. Because he comes with a prime, therefore he must come with a prime gun. Black plastic with just some silver on the inlay there. So that's totally a thing. So that's all the accessories he kind of comes with. Where is the focus going? What the heck? Okay. Alright guys, here we have Magnus out here in his big ridiculous car carrier mode. And of course, if you want to see how to get him into vehicle mode, go check out the Taro video that will be linked at the end of the video in the little thingies, or just go look for it. Probably be the either the video that came out right before this or right after this. So it is what it is. And he is a big old trucky boy. And he does roll, but I can't prove that because he basically slides on this glass. But he has a lot kind of hanging underneath, including a totally visible face syndrome there. These pinned wheels on the truck mode are actually really tight. The ones back here, not so much. But either way, he's pretty sizable. And as you can tell, he is basically a white Optimus Prime remold, but with some significant differences. And in fact, I will go ahead and bring out the Prime as it is, and actually I'll put Prime in the back so you can see the actual size comparison here. So the funny thing is, I did not realize that with trailer, Optimus is longer, like by a decent bit, like you know, half a truck length almost. I would not have expected that, honestly. I've always considered Magnus just in general to be bigger. So for some size comparisons here, I'll bring out some vehicle mode other cars here. We have a Ratchet mold, which of course the new 2.0 version is coming out. Thanks for that, Newage. Here we have a Datsun Bro. Obviously not to scale. These I feel are kind of to scale. The trucks are never to scale. And one that is probably close to scale, the new 2.0 Bumblebee. And I did want to bring this up because, of course, the fun part is you can drop the ramps if you're careful. And you can totally get a little bit of play here. He won't fit. He won't fit. The little bug, he will not fit. Okay. But you can at least get him in there. Yeah, there's no way that the bigger cars are going in there at all. Just not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Get out of there, Bumblebee. But of course, you got a little bit more room in Prime's trailer because it doesn't get narrower as time goes on. And then, of course, just for the heck of it, because I forgot I had Roller out on the shelf. There's Roller. And Roller can fit in there effectively, you know. Whoop-de-doo, if you care. I honestly thought I lost him. I was like, when I pulled Prime out for this review, I was like, where the heck is Roller? It's like I thought I lost him or put him away in the box. All right, for a real direct comparison, really the competition as it is, here is the Magic Square 1.0 version of Magnus in truck mode, and this one is definitely smaller in a lot of aspects. And of course, as we'll see later in bot mode, there's still some significant size difference. I mean, you're not even getting a car into here. You can't even get Roller in there. It also has kind of a falling bridge situation. I think something is ever so slightly out of whack, but effectively he's in transformation. I did do a review on this guy a long time ago, so go find that. And of course, for this, when I was getting ready for this video, I had to do a quick little thing for the members, where I was transforming everything back and talking about it. So if you want to see some behind the review things, if you want to see previews or out the box reactions, by all means, sign up for memberships. Okay, so I guess we don't have anything else to do but transform the guy. So we'll do this in a couple stages because there's more to compare as we go along. So I'm going to take the trailer off for now, and I'll cover that transformation here in a bit. And we'll set it off to the side because I want to transform just the white version here. And by the way, I think I forgot to mention, I think his name is technically Octavian. Did I mention that in the box review? I don't even remember. Yeah, I must have. Okay. Which, by the way, I filmed a couple days ago because that's how YouTube time travel works. Okay, so just real quick, I'm going to bring out David just as he goes so you can see only the truck mode differences here. That's a huge size difference there, because for some reason with Optimus they added this ridiculous tail section here and made him like super long, and in this one they made it very snubbed and actually put his fuel tanks in the back, because, you know, best place to keep your fuel tanks is in between your trailer and the back of your truck. But the mold differences are pretty neat, though I find it funny, like everything up front truck wise is identical, you know, just repainted for obvious effect. Even different blue translucent parts there, and no Autobot symbol on the cab. Did not do that. And by the way, I forgot to point it out, I did put Autobot symbols here on the sides of the trailer, and there's one up there that of course will be, you know, for for later use. Okay, so let's get this guy transformed up, and I can't show you the direct differences. Oh, maybe I can. I'll do some off-camera finagling. So let's go ahead and pull the legs apart here, and you have to kind of lift up on that center crotch piece there, and then go ahead and unplug this from here, and we're going to separate the legs, kind of butterfly them out like this. So the legs are the significant difference between him and David. Like, it is a huge, huge difference. So first and foremost, you can see here that stretches down, which is totally different. Go ahead and swing those out. You will want to rotate the legs 180 degrees at the hips. And as you can tell, that's going to become the front of the vehicle mode. I'm sorry, the bot mode. Hold on, I got to raise up a little bit here. It's so much harder to raise my camera up now. Okay, so where am I at? Go ahead and unfold that. Open that up. Going to untab the wheels here. Flip them in. They tab together like so. And then you grab the foot and rotate it down. So the tires are going to be facing upward like so. And then you've got the gas tank thing that was at the butt. You want to rotate that in. I'm sorry, out. Right? Where's it going? What am I looking at here? Thought you rotated it. No, it's got to go out. Oh, okay. Just not. This was not in the right position. So one thing I keep forgetting is that there is an upward and downward slide between this part and that part. So you have to have that up to get around, or down to get around that tab. I always forget that. Not gonna lie. All right, and then rotate that to where it makes anatomical sense. Flip your foot down. Make that to be the front of the leg. Open up. Swing it in, tab that in, and there's your leg. Done. It's actually not that difficult, but it is weird looking. Not gonna lie about that. All right, swing the leg around like you do. Come back here, open this up, grab your wheel, pop it, and by the way, that peg goes into there. You know, it's obvious, but you know, might as well state it outright. So rotate that there. We're going to flip it down, rotate the foot to the right direction, like so. And then because there's no tab on this side, this will go away or pop out much easier. And then you'll rotate it in, or whichever direction you want to go. I guess go the direction that is totally open. Makes more sense to go that way. And then push it in. So I said it's weird that it's on a slider, but it's totally there. So all of this is completely different to how David does it. And I'll show that off here in a second. So, all right, so that kind of cracks like an egg at that point. So flip that up there. And there's that. So in comparison, real quick, because this is the major difference between these two. So, I mean, you're going to pop open that. Go ahead and disconnect this. Then you can split the legs. I mean, obviously the visual difference is huge. We got this part here. We have the foot that is plugged into the back here. Okay, you rotate that. Flip out the heel spur. Kind of straighten this out. Bring it down. That will tab into there, filling out that part of the leg. You have to flip the gas tank out and flip the trailer hitch in. Rotate this up. Swing the bottom half of the leg around. Down. Oh, no, actually I had that correct the first time. It's like I moved it without meaning to. Okay, and then tab that in like so. Rotate the whole leg 180. We'll do that again over here. Fix that. Unplug your foot, rotate the foot 180, flip out the heel spur like so. You can go ahead and swing this down, rotate that 180, rotate the leg 180, tab this into that section, swing this down, flip in the trailer hitch. Well, do it where you have room, and bring it in, tab it down. See how hugely different that transformation was to essentially come to the same conclusion? That is really crazy. So the rest of this I don't need to compare, so I'll just come up to here. So you always want to start with opening the doors because they're kind of holding the front together effectively. If you've already unplugged the crotch skirt from the arms, that frees all this up. I say arms, from the wheel section. Bring all of this up, fold the windows down, fold the windows down. You can leave those out for the time being. Now the arms themselves have to unplug from the center. There's a tab in there. And then you have to kind of make room here. And that's one of the harder things to do. So unfold that, flip this down, rotate the hand to where it makes sense with that. Rotate at the elbow so that makes sense. Come to the other side, unplug carefully like so. Pull that out. See, it's easier once it clears itself. Rotate at the elbow, rotate the wrist like so. Grab the red part, pull it up, pull it back to reveal the head. Don't know why I said it that way. Then you can fix all that. And then while you have all this explodified, go ahead and rotate this section, which is really tight on mine. It's actually, the shoulder joint itself is tighter than that, so there will be rotation problems. But because of these tabs that stick out of the side of him, yeah, you kind of have to be careful which way you rotate stuff, because you might end up clashing. So just be warned about that. All right, so now we need to bring these sections down. Or, well, hold on, like that. Dang it, it won't fall. There it goes. Finally wanted to fold where I told it to go. Come on, get on. There we go. Get your arms up and out of the way. Stick this up in here. Rotate these back. Like so. Grab the front of the truck, swing it, and when you have clearance, which is almost never because of the way this works, you need to, hold on, get that out. Why do I always have a problem with this when the camera's on? I can do it no problem when the camera's off. All right, so you have to flip that around so the chest is exposed. Flip it up like so. Make sure it's pulled as far forward as it'll go. And then with the wheels correctly oriented, like so, those want to go up here into this cavity. Kind of like that. Bring the head up again. Red part goes down. Rotate the waist 180. Bring this down. And then here's a new fun bit. Crotch. Need to spin around while you have clearance. And now we have a white version of David. Going with that, the older version of Ultra Magnus. That is an armored Prime. He's supposed to be like Prime's brother in some particular fictions. So, and while I have him here, we'll go ahead and bring out a regular David for comparison. Okay, so here we go. And you can tell, for the most part, it's the same mold, with the exception of the legs, obviously transforming totally different. The crotch, which this one has independent hip skirts, and the legs don't drop down. So everything below the waist on this guy is new, with the exception of the thighs. The thighs are exactly the same. But the other difference is this Prime opens up like so, to reveal the matrix. I forgot it's got a big old nub right there that I never removed. You know what? While I'm here, you know, on camera and everything, I'm just going to go ahead and fix this friggin' problem. Don't even care. There we go. Now we can see his matrix. So there's that. And then this one, which you'll see in a later chunk of the video, also opens up in a very different manner. Where did my spudger go? Because it's so much easier with the spudger. Okay. Did I drop it? Oh, I did drop it. Me, edit this out. Yeah. Okay, so spudger. So you can try to get it from the center section here to open it up, but I found it's actually easier just to push on his little Lego windows here. And of course, he will have a prime. He has a matrix in there too. Same matrix as far as I can tell, but significantly harder to get out. So good luck with that. As you do, articulation is going to be the same and all that, so no real reason to even bother going through all that. But the backpack, that was one thing I meant to get to. Even the butt skirts are different. Didn't even realize. That's nice. So Prime basically molded for the jetpack situation, and he's molded for becoming Magnus. That's the big thing there. So with that out of the way, and go ahead and start on this transformation. Or actually, before I do that, might as well prep him. Actually, it makes way more sense to do that. Good job, me. All right, so we want to rotate the hands effectively like this to get started. And we're going to basically halfway transform him to vehicle mode and then put him into a different mode. So we want to grab this, flip that out. Gonna let that be as it may. Going to pull up on the center section. We're going to pop the wheels loose like you do. Let's get the arms up and out of the way just for the heck of it. Rotate so that you have room to maneuver everybody. Rotate the faux windshield out of the way. I don't even know if it's worth calling it a faux windshield. It's effectively an actual windshield. Pull all this up and out, because now you have to flip the shoulders back to how they are in truck mode. I know we literally just did that, but you know, do that number, and then we're going to put this all right back as though it's in bot mode. I know. It's fun. It's called fun, guys. This is what we do here. We have fun. So do that. I mean, the head still needs to be back, but do that number. Flip this back around. And by the way, this is all translucent blue painted white, so totally expect that to chip over time. All right, and I guess the least amount you mess with it, the better off it'll be. Oop, I got stuck up in there. Go ahead and fix the wheels back. You're going to want to just leave the legs down a little, like so. Okay, so we want to bring the shoulders back, like so. And you want to rotate the arms so that the triangles and stuff are facing that way. And then you're going to lay them flat like this. So rotate there, fold down, lay flat. And then you want to take the head. What's in the way here? I guess everything. Tuck the head away. I believe like so. And bring up the backpack like that. I believe is what we are going to do here. I know that when I did this video before, I definitely got that wrong somehow. Okay, so let's fix the shoulders, straighten everybody else out. All right, so if there's anything wrong, it's going to be the placement of the head, but I'm pretty sure I got it right this time, because I'm fairly certain I got it wrong last time. Okay, so the Prime itself is effectively good to go. Come to the trailer. Now we need to blow this apart effectively. Let's see here. Pull apart there, pull apart there. And we can separate this whole front section. And then we want to take that apart. Now, mind you, there is a T-tab right there, so don't just yank it sideways. And this will break down into most of its parts. Whenever I first got this guy out of the box, this part fell off whenever I opened that up. And I was sitting there trying to transform it. I was like, where's the crotch piece? And I thought I was legit missing a part. You have the thigh covers that are hidden away here. Also, the thigh covers have some really massive nub marks on them, or nubs actually left on them, so I had to cut those off. Okay, so we're basically broken down into all of our pieces. Let's start with the legs. So the legs are part of the easiest chunk of the transformation. Pull this down, pull the wheel down, rotate it 180, flip it back up, so now the bottom of the foot is flat, flip that up. Alright, so this front white piece is basically going to stay where it is, and you want to flip this one up like that. And when it was fresh out of the box, that was very, very stiff and didn't want to go anywhere. Next up, you want to flip this up, fold that in, fold this around, and we're like that. Good. Do all of the same over here. Flip this up. And by the way, you can kind of move that. Obviously, we saw it in truck mode. Bring up, flip closed, bring around. Good to go. For the crotch section, pretty easy. Just straighten everybody out like so. And then we have the arms and torso. And you've got a hook tab here. And then a couple tabs up there on the forearms. Go ahead and fold that away so it's not in our way anymore. Bring up the head like so. And like that. And then these shoulders are tabbed together on a little post. So swing this open. You want to pull off the missile turrets. Or missile pods, whatever you want to call them. I really wish there was a transformation that allowed those to just stay in place, because they almost go back to the same exact spot. Almost. And then we flip that 180, like so. I say that when I realize they're actually going to go here. Go ahead and bring up the entire arm, squish that together, rotate 180. And then instead of doing a sliding forearm, like a lot of them do, they do a accordion style. So bring out your fist and fix your arm there. Hey, look, there's a Magnus. Swing around. Do like that. Bring this up. Rotate down. Flip out the fist. Collapse the forearm. And now we have all our Magnus parts effectively in the right position. So let's start with the legs. Bring in the leg. Bring in the leg armor. So you have a post right in there. And that will line up with that guy right there. And bring that in. Stick it in there good. Red part will plug in right there. Bring this up. Swing this around, and it will just tab in effectively there. I know I'm saying effectively a lot. Forgive me. And it just sort of lines everything up. Oop. I know I forgot somebody. Like that. And if you're asking the question, hey Shoky, can you put that on a normal David? And we're going to answer that question right now. Because no would be the answer. Like, it kind of, in a way, almost wants to, but there's not enough clearance here. Like, the way the foot works, the way everything lines up is totally different. The legs are curved differently. There's no tabs, there's no holes, there's no slots or anything for this to go into place. And also with the upper torso, you could put it into this position, but you don't have the tabs there to actually affix the rest of the torso to. I mean, you could technically put the top on, but it will not be secure. It'll just be kind of sitting there and hoping for the best. So sadly, no, you can't do that. But let's continue on with our transformation. I love that it leaves the cutout here for the gas tank there. That's funny. Swing that in, close that up. Good to go. He's already gotten taller. So we take our crotch section. You've got two tabs there that will associate to those two slots inside there. Bring this in. Bring this down. close it. I will say I wish there was a back flap that tabbed in here and would make it fully secured. That would have been absolutely perfect. They did not do that. I don't know why. Because this part actually does come loose quite a bit. Also, I did forget the big fat thunder thighs here, because you have to tab these on. And yes, I know, parts forming. Wah. If you're going to have an Ultra Magnus that is actually an armor, you're going to end up with parts forming. There's no way around it. That's just what you do. Also, that looks kind of cool in itself. Big old truck walker. If you want an all-in-one version of this scale, go with the original Magic Square. Because I think, I could be wrong, but I think the Magic Square 2.0 version is an armored version like this, because I believe it followed up with their second Prime as well. All right, so you're going to want to slide all of this in here, and there's only a couple spots where things sort of line up. Nothing will tab in or anything along these lines. So you just kind of have to uncomfortably push it all the way in. And then the tabs that we pointed out earlier will go into those slots there. And yes, when it's fresh out of the box, it will be uncomfortable, but you can do it. And now we can cinch up the waist. Now we take our missiles and plug them in here. And this one's different because it has a post, and so this one is different, and it has a thingy-do, like so. And there we go. There is Magnus, done and done in his bot mode. And that is the perfect time to take a break. Whew, that is an involved transformation. Alright guys, so now that we got Magnus here in his enormous robot mode after that, well, kind of harrowing transformation, he is a big old blue boy. Blue, red, white, he is all of the proper colors. And he does look very good, if not a bit chunky, because he's got some heft going on there. Between that ridiculous kind of backpack and like this huge barrel chest he's got going on, along with the giant clunky big old feet. Look at that. I mean, literally he's got the side of a truck as his feet. And like, I don't know, something feels dumpy. Like, and you can sort of adjust the hips a little bit. Like you can drop them down, but it makes it look narrower. But it gives it just a kind of a little more height. It's almost like if the hips could pull out and it elongate just a little bit, because otherwise, if you have them tucked away completely, and he looks a little stumpy, if I'm honest. But let's see here. Let's come up to the head here. All right. Whoa, that is a hell of a zoom. All right, back out just a little bit there. Okay. All right, so we got this nice big old Magnus head. Got the giant crest in the middle, his little white antennas. It is on a ball joint, so you can get a bit of movement like so. And of course, he can go ridiculous due to the transformation and kick his head way back. But I guess like if you wanted him to be able to look down at somebody, you're going to have to kick that neck up a little. Plus, he can't see past his own chest. So honestly, anybody roughly this tall would be almost invisible to him. So, and you do got the red painted and plastic chest all in there. Shoulders can spin all the way around. You do have some nice tilt. You got a tiny bit of butterfly movement depending on how you feel like breaking the sculpt. The shoulder missiles, of course, are there. Yeah, this one does plug in. One thing I'm not happy about is how this never wants to sit 100% clean. That is annoying in my opinion. Let's see here. He does have the bicep rotation with the big open mushroom cap elbow. Single jointed elbow for a really impressive run there. And of course you do have the hands here that you can't rotate because of the way they're designed. And of course you can swap them out like so, you know. And it feels like there's a tiny bit of movement within that wrist joint, sort of. So maybe that helps. Hold on, let me plug this fist back in. Okay. Wait, does that... Hold on, I want to see something. I feel like I may have missed something now. I'm trying to pop the arm open. Usually not that difficult. So, like, part of me wonders if there's an extended joint for the hand, and I'm just an idiot. No, there can't be. Because it's just on that flip-flop joint. Okay, so it's just coming in and sitting flush or not. Okay. So, that's a thing. Just got to watch your sculpt a little bit here, because it does want to... Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. He does have a shoulder joint there, more or less. What is going on here? Okay, make it darker. All that white is just really messing with the camera. All right, you do get waist rotation, no problem. And you do get the same torso rocker, whatever you want to call it, ab crunch. It's a bit ridiculous. It's more of a backwards movement, and you will pop this crotch piece off. I really wish they had found a way to tab this into the side skirt or something, because there's not a lot holding it together. And what's really funny, these tabs serve a purpose later in regular transformation. I say later, in the actual transformation, but here they don't do anything to help secure anybody. By the way, I do like this nice red chunk of the backpack here. It would be cool if we eventually got one that just had a blank that could fill this in, and you don't have to deal with this. And yes, you will see the Autobot logos there. Speaking of which, I threw one on that shoulder. It's not the right size, but the one I had on there initially, I didn't dig. All right, so for kicking the legs forward, you do get a crotch plate, but you have the original crotch plate there, so you have to lift that up too. And then I guess if you drop the leg down, you can get into kick all the way forward for a nice chorus line. And if you move the side skirts up and out of the way, and move the hips and the arms and everything else, because you have bi-level everything. There we go. You got an almost perfect Jean-Claude. So as an action figure, he's actually not terrible. You do, of course, get your thigh rotation up there at the kind of at the top of the hip. Single jointed elbow, good for roughly 90, maybe just a hair over. I mean, not asking it to do a whole lot. And then if you come down here, the one good thing is you did technically fill in the gaps here. It does still look funny in my opinion, but I guess it's not terrible. Also, the difference between the plastic and then the painted, they should have just painted everything, in my opinion, and make it one even tone. And then you do get ankle rocker, but it's very odd, because it's like the toe tip in there. If you push that down, you can totally see the regular prime toe. And then, of course, he does have this. Got some nice molding up under there as well. Now you can, of course, hold all those weapons that we saw earlier, just any of them with pegs, like you do. And you kind of got the gist of how the hands work by popping those out. And he does have the gimmick that, of course, everybody would expect him to have. He does have a hidden matrix of leadership, so you can pop open the chest, and then you have the prime chest in here. Here's the problem. So you guys can see this. I'm going to zoom in. So during the out the box, I chipped this. So because all of this windshield is translucent, and you can only open it by kind of prying it open. I guess in theory you could... are there corners you can push? I don't have a... Where are my spudgers? Oh, there it is. It was underneath a red lion. Go figure. Let me see here. Is there something I can push on the side? Yes, okay. So you can do that number and get to the matrix. So good luck getting that out of there. It's as far as I know, it's the same one that came in David, and I do believe you technically can remove it, but it is not easy. And it is fully painted. You got the silver, kind of bronzish gold, and a bluish metallic kind of in the middle there. So that does look pretty good. Let's see here. Actually, speaking of David, let's just go ahead and bring in David, because he's right here. And you can see already the main difference. Yep, same matrix. So you got this matrix tucked away right here. The hell is my focus? There we go. So there you go. You can see it's the same matrix, but a very different thing there. And of course, we would have seen the comparison on those earlier, but just showing it off there since I forgot to do the matrix earlier. So either way, and then of course you can just boop the chest close, and once again, painted, not painted. So I really wish they'd done this. I'd like the white painted on there. Looks pretty cool. So yeah, also, let's just do the size comparison since we're here. And because he is a prime on the inside, we got to compare him size-wise to prime. So there he is. And this one does suffer from the fact that it follows the Takara idea of making sure there's a white prime on the inside. Whereas if you can just do an all-in-one vehicle / robot, instead of having two robots, more or less, you end up with much less of a size difference. Because in a lot of scale charts, Ultra Magnus is only roughly a head taller than Optimus. And you gotta remember, this Optimus is a bit taller than the original DX9, that sort of started this whole Legendary Heroes thing. And let's see here, for other comparison, I'm gonna bring in the last biggest bot we more or less got with Grimlock. So you got Grimlock, who is essentially, more or less the same height. I guess you kind of straighten out the legs. I bet they're almost identical. But I think, technically speaking, even Grimlock is supposed to be taller. So I'm trying to get this foot to cooperate. By the way, I had to remember how to transform Grimlock. It had been a while since the last review that I brought him out for. So he's roughly the same height, but I believe Grimlock is actually supposed to be taller than Magnus. And another comparison to at least a movie bot. In some instances, Cyclonus is actually taller than Magnus as well, but then in other animation shots, he's, Cyclonus is taller or Magnus is taller, just depending. There's one particular shot where he's like, they're face to face, and Cyclonus has him pinned against the wall, and he's like a head taller than Magnus. So I think nobody can really determine exactly how tall Magnus is. And then bring in Galvatron. So, sorry, I had to fix it. All right, so there's Galvatron. And Galvatron is definitely too short. Because you got to remember, Galvatron, shot Magnus and blew him up. Or at least blew him into pieces. And then, of course, he was, back there by the Junkions. So, the weird thing is that Galvatron's always been too small since they came out with him. I mean, he's smaller than Cyclonus, and they're supposed to be roughly the same size. But I mean, he doesn't even look like he's the same body, shorter than the Megatron that came before him. And then the last movie bot representation with pretty much the last figure I think we looked at from Newage with RC. You can see her there. She is tiny, but I mean, compared to almost anybody, she's tiny. I mean, even I don't think I compared her to Prime, but I really don't. I think I compared her to Dutch, but there she is next to Prime. And knowing that the Elita 1 is the same size, she's definitely small in comparison. But that's not the most important comparison I wanted to do, because, of course, much like we did in vehicle mode, we have to bring out the Magic Square 1.0, which is an all-in-one bot. And you can see there's a big, no pun intended, size difference. This one, the proportions make sense. He's not super thick. He's not super chunky. I mean, look at the size difference just here on the bottom part of the legs. But even just from foot to knee is that much taller. And then at the thigh, they're roughly the same. They're almost the same at the hips. Almost. They're close. But then, after that, it's just embarrassing. But, ironically, this Magnus is actually a bit closer to the height that he's supposed to be. Roughly, a head taller than Prime. So, you know, this was my representation for like the longest time. And I thought about getting rid of this one, but I think depending on what I'm going to do, if I do like a straight up just movie shelf, I'll probably stick with this guy, but I might leave this one on as like my ARC crew. Now, the funny thing is, between these two, I'm going to go ahead and get Prime out of here. Between these two, this transformation is much more fun, and because it is an all-in-one situation, it's better. There's no parts forming. There's no Prime on the inside. Now, mind you, he does have an 18-wheeler creeping off his back. You know, that's one little thing they could have changed, you know, giving you a plate to cover that or something. But also, the paint details are different on this one. You got the silver down here. You have the white up there on the kind of shoulder pauldron. And, of course, this one is more of a toy color, but it is actually kind of closer. Like, it's something about this more like a baby blue I almost like. He does seem skinny, but then again, you know, one thing that's also kind of funny about it, his hands protrude out significantly more, meaning you can actually do something with them. Now, not much, but you can pull them off and kind of reorient them a little. Now, of course, the Magic Square plastic feels like crap. They don't paint hardly anything, whereas, of course, this one is very well painted, but not 100% painted, and that's where I think that it does lack a little bit. And for a figure this expensive, you know, to be not fully painted, and compared to this one, which in a lot of ways the molding is equal, if not slightly better, and to have almost no paint but still look pretty solid. Like, if you kind of change that head sculpt for that one, you know, I'd almost have no reason to get rid of this one. Now, I know Magic Square did a 2.0 that was different, but I also heard that one was fairly well disappointing. But, like, here's the funny part. Articulation, roughly the same. You got the flip-flop there. You got the hips that can go out and back and out to the side. You got the single-jointed knee, although this one is better. You've got similar arm posing, but it doesn't have the arm that comes out to the side, so it's a little different. You do have bicep swivel, but it's really tight due to the way this guy moves. The head, basically on a ball peg that's really stiff. This one does feel more fragile, I'll say that. You know, swivel hips, a ab crunch that sort of makes a bit more sense than that one. So, I mean, you know, as a quick versus, you know, in a lot of ways, this one does work really nice. It still does, you know, and it was cheaper than this guy. Now, this one looks like a tiny Takara version, which kind of plays into what they've been doing. They've kind of been building small masterpiece figures. This is basically a tiny MP44 in a lot of ways. This guy's basically Fans Toys Quietus in a whole lot of ways. So, I mean, in theory, what Newage is trying to do is basically capture the masterpiece aesthetic on a smaller scale at this particular point. And given what we're going to be looking at next time, another really big bot from them, it's the same deal. You know, kind of borrowing from MP aesthetics and making something really good that works on a small level. So the problem is nearly MP pricing for something that is a third of MP size. You got to decide if that's worth it for you. I know that Show Z has them for cheaper when you get it, but of course you have that wait to actually get it shipped here. So that's on you, whether you want to support American retailers or not, or if you want to save a buck, and I don't fault you if you do. I got friends who do it all the time, no big deal. The fact that you have to transform a Prime, both from truck mode into bot mode, and then transform from bot mode into this form, is really annoying. But the fact that there are superior parts to that Prime's transformation compared to the original is kind of crazy. Like, details and transformation that are different but work better in a way, but it gives up some of the other options, which are a bit silly. Like, for instance, like the chest. I guess because of the way this is engineered with this whole front section here, you couldn't have the opening windshields from a normal Prime. Yeah, you literally couldn't. You wouldn't be able to open them. And by the way, you can't use this version of David. So if you have this kind of version that has the weird collapsible shin parts, he will not work. Or if he has this backpack, he will not work. Some bits will, but other things you'll be lacking where you need to peg into places. You'll be lacking where the leg here has fittings to connect into here. And so, you know, that's just one of those things. Like, sadly, you can't use a prime you already have to make another cool Magnus. And of course, they have a buttload of Magnus recolors. You know, shattered glass, translucent, the gold translucent, the red translucent, the toy deco, the, I guess, metallic deco, or comic. No, they haven't done a comic version yet. That'll be interesting. He's got a bunch of different versions of just Magnus. I do want the shattered glass one, but it's going to be a while till I can grab that one. It'll have to be on a re-release. But either way, he's good, but he's weird. Like, if a big, chunky, small Magnus is what you want, he's definitely going to be better in a lot of aspects to the old Magic Square. If you have the newer Magic Square, I can't tell you which one technically you'd like better. But because I'm a New Age person, this is what I do. So, either way. But, guys, go check out the rest of the New Age / DX9 playlist. If you haven't, go watch all the other Tiny Transformers reviews. And, of course, watch the Taro video where we have to get this guy into vehicle mode. And that stands for Transform and Roll Out, in case you haven't noticed. It should be linked in the description, or not in the description, in the end card. So, just, yeah, check that out. And, of course, I will see you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on nerding.